In another world, a magical summoning is attempted, but an assassin attacks and also ruins the spell. On Earth, two high school students named Taichi and Rin were on the way to their school, but they suddenly get caught into the spell. The spell was only focused to Taichi, but Rin also steps into it. Due to the spell, they both gets transported into the other world. They were wondering about the new world, but suddenly a monster horse attacks them. But a trio of magic-wielding adventurers come to their aid and kill it. Inspired by them to become adventurers, to make a living, Taichi and Rin are escorted to the city of Aspire, where they attempt to register with the Adventurers Guild. However, when a measure of their magical ability is taken, everyone gets shocked after watching the results. Both Taichi and Rin were really overpowered, so because of this the guild master sends Taichi and Rin to Lemia, a master magician, and her elf apprentice, Muller. Lemia also takes her own reading of Taichi and Rin's magical capabilities. After that, Lemia declares that they must become her apprentices. Lemia discloses that Rin, and especially Taichi, possess tremendous magical powers, making an apprenticeship with her a prerequisite in order to control them. While Rin is identified as a quad magician, capable of wielding all four of the principal magical elements, Taichi is designated as an rare unique magician, known as a sorcerer, who can directly employ the power of the spirits who control those elemental forces, although his magical specialty remains unknown for now. Under Lemia and Muller's tutelage, the two graduate in a surprisingly short time, and then they both were sent back to Aspire to become registered adventurers. But all the way, Taichi keeps hearing a fleeting voice, speaking to him every now and then. He can't understand anything and keeps wondering about it. After working as low-rank adventurers for a time, Taichi and Rin are entrusted with a mission to discover the cause of Aspire's rising shortage of food and other vital necessities. In the bar they are assigned to investigate, it just turns out that the patrons merely skimmed their food from a caravan which was already raided. But on their way back, Taichi and Rin are attacked by a trio of female assassins. Overpowering one and driving the others into fight, they take their captive to the guild, where she is made an offer for her freedom by the guild master. The next day, Muller takes them to the countryside to check on a delay of fruit deliveries related to the economic shortage. They end up fighting several monsters, but they quickly begin to suspect Kasim, one of the fruit farmers they met, to be in league with the actual thieves. Taichi, Rin and Muller find and overpower a gang of thugs raiding the orchards, and then confront Kasim with their suspicions. Cornered, Kasim admits that he orchestrated the raids, and he and his partner Grammy attack the three to defeat Taichi. Kasim summons a frost elemental, but Taichi was able to stand against it, to overpower Taichi. Kasim uses an unknown Crimson Pact magic, making it virtually unbeatable. But when he threatens to harm Rin and Muller, a wind spirit called Ariel, whose voice has been addressing him all the time, offers to lend Taichi her power, which he accepts. His abilities vastly boosted by Ariel. Taichi was very angry and also destroys the red frost elemental with his powers, and severs Kasim's arm. Grammy and Kasim finds out that they can't stand a chance against Taichi, so they make their escape, but the power he expends takes a toll on him, and he collapses into unconsciousness. Later, a young woman begins torturing someone for information, while a pair of young twin magicians feed a huge number of pods in a subterranean chamber with magical power. Taichi finds himself back in Lemia's hut, where Rin and Muller took him after his collapse. After learning of his battle with the Crimson Magicians, Lemia identifies Taichi's specialty as a summoner who can bond with elemental spirits and directly employ their vast powers. Returning to Aspire to rejoin Rin and Muller, later on, Taichi saves a girl named Anastasia, and afterwards he finds out that the girl was the assassin, which he handed over to the guild, who is now a guild member, and investigating the cause of the food shortage. Teaming up, they infiltrate a manor in the city which is suspected to be the center of this operation, only to discover a scheme to unleash an army of Crimson Pact-enhanced monsters on Aspire. In the meantime, Rin and Muller are lured into a trap by Kasim and Grammy. They both captures Muller by tricking Rin, and later on another mysterious man, who introduces him as the mastermind of the impeding invasion, and later challenges them to defy him. Rin and Muller return to the guild house and spread the alarm about the incoming incursion. Taichi and Anastasia battle their way into the mansion's cellar, where he defeats an golem and met the twin magicians Myro and Miro, the Crimson-enhanced goblins they've been breeding at them. They releases the goblins and orders them to attack on Taichi and Rin. They both struggles a lot, but however, Myro and Miro quickly lose control over their charges, prompting Taichi to rescue them. As dawn arrives, Aspire's adventurers meet the monster invaders, many of them Crimson-enhanced, in battle. Returning from the mansion exploration, Taichi leaves Anastasia behind to join the fighting. As the battle rages, and the mystery man and Kasim observe it, Lemia, Rin and Muller defeats many monsters single-handedly. At the same time, Anastasia is put under a hypnotic charm and strays into the battlegrounds. To everyone's surprise, the fighting is joined by a two-headed dragon rising from the underground. Lemia tells them that the dragon is the second strongest and powerful being in their world. As Taichi prepares to engage the monster, Anastasia appears beside him and is mortally wounded by the dragon's breath attack. As she dies in his arms, her last wish was to be friended with Taichi, and Taichi accepts it too. But later on we see the enraged Taichi asks Ariel for more power, a wish which formally seals the pact between him as a summoner, and Ariel as his bonded spirit, and also enhances Taichi's resolve to save all those he cares for. Facing the dragon, Taichi beats it to the ground, whereupon the dragon withdraws, but not without providing him with a cryptic warning that a certain person wishes to use Taichi's power to control the fate of this world. And here the battle ends with the victory of Guild. Following the battle, Taichi, Rin, Lemia and Muller receive a summons to Wenifix, the capital of Aristine, to aid King Gilmer in quelling the rebellion instigated by his younger brother, Duke Dordesheim. Upon meeting the king, Lemia confronts him with the suspicion that he is responsible for Taichi and Rin's displacement into this world, which Gilmer confirms. His daughter, Princess Charlotte, performed the summoning upon her father's command, but is to her utmost regret unable to return Taichi and Rin back to Earth. And the women in the first scene was none other than Princess Charlotte, as Taichi and Rin must face the prospect of having to fight, and possibly kill, human beings. The mystery man from Aspire is revealed to be Laudra, the king's high cardinal who pretends to care princess. Upon learning of the arrival of Taichi and Rin, whose prowess in Aspire has made them near legendary, Duke Dordesheim decides to accelerate his plan to seize the throne. His two companions starts an argument with each other and asks Duke to choose one to accelerate his plan. Duke asks Marquis Nilgem for this, but later on an assassin is sent to eliminate Taichi and Rin, but Taichi and his friends notice his presence and prepare an ambush, foiling the attempt on their lives. The next day, Marquis Nilgem, one of Dordesheim's allies, leads the first attack with a surprisingly small force, but their plan is unveiled when they employ powerful magic rings to bombard the royal defenders with far-range attacks. Combining their powers, Taichi, Rin, Ariel and the court magicians take out the attackers with a lightning strike which leaves them all paralyzed. Sparing their lives, Nilgem is assassinated by Inimicus, Dordesheim's advisor, for his failure, and after that we also see Kasim and Grammy, who have infiltrated the capital, plan to lure Taichi into a trap to settle the score between him and Kasim. While looking for a stomach cure after overeating at the victory feast, Taichi is met by Kasim, who coerces him into a duel. To even the odds and determine which one of them is more skilled, Kasim uses a magical effigy given to him by Laudra to block the bulk of Taichi's powers, and now Taichi is exactly equal to Kasim in terms of magical capabilities. Remembering Lemia's training, Taichi defeats his opponent, but then a dark spirit emerges from the effigy to kill Taichi. Working together, Taichi, Kasim and Grammy destroy the effigy, restoring Taichi's power and allowing him to banish the spirit. Taichi parts with Kasim and Grammy, who have gained a grudging respect for him, but this clash was all according to the plan of Laudra and his mysterious mistress, Lady Shade. Dordesheim declares open war, and hasty preparations are made to meet the enemy. The war for the crown begins, and the two armies clash on the battlefield. While Rin, Lemia and Muller fight alongside the king's soldiers, Taichi and Ariel infiltrate Dordesheim's base camp to try and convince him to end the rebellion peacefully, but Duke denies just because of his ego. Taichi still tries to negotiate with Duke Dordesheim, but Inimicus starts laughing, and was imbued with dark magic and drunk with devotion to Lady Shade, unleashes a spell which turns the soldiers of both sides into zombie-like berserkers who threaten to slaughter everyone in their path. Lemia also understands what the hell is going on, and then she tells us about a past war. Years ago 2 nations fought just same as like that, and don't know who, but someone also uses the same dark magic. Both nations were destroyed by those berserkers and now, the 2 opposing armies join forces to stand against the berserkers, but face impossible odds. Rin moves forward to Taichi and Taichi was ready to do whatever he must to save his friends. Taichi calls on Ariel's full power. Acknowledging Taichi's willingness to sacrifice himself, Ariel gives up her current form, evolving into the Queen of the Wind Spirits, Sylphid, and enabling Taichi to break the spell. Sylphid tells Taichi that Ariel is still alive in Sylphid, but later on we see Inimicus, who is turned into a demon-like being who is enchanted with the grudge of Lady Shade. Taichi then combats Inimicus. He thinks that Taichi can't kill him because he never did this before and starts laughing on Taichi in a half-dead condition, but Taichi uses his full power and starts to prepare his final move. Inimicus, who was watching his death, informs him of Lady Shade's intentions to use his powers to change this world, but Taichi says the one who killed many innocent like this can never be a savior. and with that says he kills Inimicus. After the civil war ended, Duke Dordesheim is executed for this, but he didn't felt any regret, while Taichi's group is amply rewarded for their service and return to Aspire as heroes. Despite Inimicus foreshadowing a future conflict, Taichi strengthens his resolve to use his powers to protect his beloved friends. Thanks a lot for watching till the end. Leave a like to tell us that you loved this video, and subscribe for more amazing content.